Hey, hope everybody's doing well. In this video, I want to talk about the derivatives of sine and cosine, some trig functions, along with how to use it with the product rule and quotient rule. So let's get started on this. So the derivative of sine is cosine, and the derivative of cosine happens to be negative sine. So my first problem that I want to do with you right now is the derivative of x squared times cosine of x. Now, remember that this is a product rule. I have x squared times cosine of x. And so the product rule, the general form of a product rule, if I have the product of two functions, the derivative, the template for this is the derivative of the first function times the second function, plus the first function times the derivative of the second function. So let's apply that to this particular problem. The derivative of this product is the derivative of the first, leave the second alone. Then I'm going to add to this the first times the derivative of the second. Well, the derivative of second is negative sine of x. Now I can neaten this up a little bit and write it like this. And this particular part right here is the derivative of x squared times cosine of x. So let's try another one. Let's try sine of x times cosine of x. So again, I'm going to use the product rule. Derivative of the first, leave the second alone, plus the first times the derivative of the second. Derivative of cosine is negative sine. Again, I can neaten this up a little bit. This minus sign right here comes from this negative sign right here. So here's another one. I'm going to look at sine of x divided by cosine of x. Now, remember, when I'm dealing with the quotient rule, it looks very, very similar to this. But if I have a quotient, it's the derivative of the top times the bottom minus the top times the derivative of the bottom, all over the bottom squared. Now, why did I point out that this is very similar to this up here? Well, the derivative of sine times cosine has a minus in it. But now, since I'm going to replace the sine over here, that the derivative of this, I am going to reuse this work here, is cosine squared of x, not minus squared of x, but plus sine squared of x, all over the bottom squared, which is cosine squared of x. Now, one of the big trig identities, sine squared of x plus cosine squared of x is equal to 1. So that numerator is equal to 1. One other identity that we have, one of the reciprocal identities, 1 over cosine is secant. But we're going to square it. So I wind up getting this. But there's something that I want you to notice. The original function, we can rewrite this as tangent. So effectively, we have just shown that the derivative of tangent of x is equal to secant squared of x. So if I know the derivative of sine is cosine and the derivative of cosine is negative sine, I wind up getting the derivative of tangent is secant squared of x. I hope these 3 examples illustrate some of the power of the product rule and the quotient rule. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. Have a great day. Bye.